Hello folks, hope you're doing well. So, this one. Okay. During the week, I will probably comment on a number of people's videos. I understand when I'm commenting that I'm not necessarily speaking to the people or the person who has that channel. So whoever that person is, I'm not necessarily speaking to that person, because most people that actually have a channel and do videos don't look at the comments. Don't care less about the comments at all. They care less about the comments because they maybe get money from it if there's a lot of comments and a lot of views. Then, but they don't really reply to them because there's too many. So they stop bothering about the comments. But other people may read the comments. So there are many, many, many online. I said the other day when I talked about the agenda of slagging off women on YouTube, judging women, that agenda. The majority of people doing this are people that call themselves Christians. So on such videos, I will often comment and talk about the way they're doing things, that they're coming into cancel culture degree, or they're coming into Matthew 7 territory, and you explain to them what Matthew 7 says and what it means, and you help to understand that they're on a path which is really bad and they need to turn them out. But again, you're not necessarily speaking to that person, you're speaking to the subscribers of that channel, because some of them will actually read your comment. And among the subscribers of these channels, there are one or two people, quite possibly, that are of God and yet don't realise it yet. But when reading something that speaks truth in darkness, their spirit will still react to it in a positive way. They will still recognise it as truth, even though they won't understand necessarily how and where, but they will know that there's something about that. And so therefore, normally when in those such situations, I try, but I don't react, I don't comment to everyone, because unless I feel really led to say something, I won't. It's like on that whatever channel, that podcast thing. Most of the time I don't comment, but then sometimes I write 4 or 5 comments, because as I'm watching an episode, which I don't normally do but sometimes I do, it's helpful actually to have it on the background, because it's just whatever. And so the whatever channel is quite useful for when you think whatever would do. And so if I hear something that is outrageous, and you do often, then I will comment. So but again, I don't want to comment for the sake of commenting. It has to be because I'm being led. And the same as the videos, the videos are about being led and saying something because it's worth saying, rather than what I was saying earlier about the churches and the numbers, and you can rely upon math, and you can rely upon, well, the likelihood is, if you do the math, it means that there are 2.5 people of God in every church. Problem is, that's not a reality. There may very well be one church where 80% are of God, which means there could very well be 20 churches where there's no one of God at all in that church. There could be 200,000 churches where there's no one of God. It wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape or form if that was the case. it wouldn't surprise me at all if there's 200,000 churches where there's no one of God in them. That would not surprise me in any way, shape or form. Looking at the landscape, I was watching something earlier. It was a interview with Bill Maher and John Richardson. Is it John Richardson? The one who... No, Richardson. John Richardson? Is that his name? Richardson, yeah. No, Alan Richardson. The bloke who plays Reacher. And they were talking about the Word of God and talking about the fact that, the Word of God can't be trusted because most of the stories in the Word of God existed elsewhere beforehand anyway. And Alan Richardson agreed with that. And he's a Christian. Yeah. So all of that. The thing of it is, with regards to all this stuff, I've said about the Word of God for a long time. But as I said, that's why the Lord said, I leave you the helper. Because there's a lot. I mean, what is it? Bill Maher was saying that the Gospels were not written by the apostles. Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. There were other people that were later than that who wrote them. Now, again, does it matter? No. Because what matters is it true? Yeah. And right now, we're at a point where, when I heard that, I said to God, well, Dad, the reality is you're going to show this. You're going to show that you are truth. You are real. People, there's no point talking about it. People need to see. And the only one who can do that is you. So yes, it looks dark. And yes. Yeah, because yes, honestly, could I say it's likely that 200,000 churches have no one of God in them? Yes. Because the landscape is showing that right now. The landscape right now is extremely dark. And as I say, it's ridiculous for anyone to say, oh, but you've not seen all the churches. That's ridiculous. You can't judge the churches because you've not seen all of them. Again, it's ridiculous. You can pretty much judge because, as I say, you can see what happens on what you see in the newspaper, what you see online, what you see in the news, what you see what's happening in different countries. The church has got a lot to do with that, or what's not happening has got a lot to do with that. So a dead church will have a major impact on that country. What that country's doing, like this whole point about in America right now, the whole point about the extremist points of view on the left and the right, the whole idea that Trump could be elected again is insane, but you've got to look at where's the church in this? Where's a church that's actually listening to God in any of this at all? Whether you've got the gender issues, whether you've got whatever, the extreme left, the extreme right. Where is the church of people listening to God in all of this and guiding the people? It doesn't seem to exist. That's a fair assessment. You can look at that and you can assess, okay, the landscape looks as if you could honestly say there might be only a few hundred, maybe a few thousand people in America that are of God. That, you could certainly say that. And in Europe, no better. In Africa, no better. Anywhere, no better. That's the landscape right now. Look at the way that China is behaving towards its own people. So in China, no better. Look at what's happening in Russia. So in Russia, no better. In Eastern Europe, no better. In Western Europe, no better. There doesn't seem to be an influence of Christianity, of God, of people who are actually listening to God and being led by God. These countries seem to be led by the devil. It's a fair assessment. Just look at the landscape, you can see it quite clearly. So, yeah. People can say you can't judge all churches, but the evidence is there. The Lord said you know them by their fruit, and with such lack of fruit, you know that they, generally speaking, don't exist. Don't you? Yeah. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.